going to be giving you a designer tip on how to organize a bookshelf. We have these all over our homes, various rooms employ them, but we usually tend to just fill them with clutter. And although yes, they are made to hold books, there are times when we want to use it to showcase things instead of just be a storage unit. And in those instances, we need to really focus on how we want to style the entire system to display items that are important to us, things that have a great story to them, that are good conversation starters when guests come to your home, or just displaying objects that are really important to you that you want to be able to see as you move about your home and showcase your style. So we want it to just feel a little bit more intentional and a little bit less like a cluttered storage unit. So first things first, we need to empty all the shelves, and then I'll show you how we can get it styled. Now that we've emptied everything, what we need to do is look at the shelving unit that we have and decide, do we need to change anything about it up front? Most bookshelves, these shelves are going to be adjustable. Usually it's just a tab, and there's a system in the side of holes that you can adjust the pegs and move the shelves. So take a look at what you think you might want to put on the shelves and decide if you need to adjust. What I've done, and what I recommend that you do, is just walk through your house. Take a look at things that might be hidden, might have gotten stuck on a shelf in a back room that you're like, wow, that was actually something that was really important, or that I remember has a great story, something that I like talking about. Grab those items and bring them to where you are. That's what I've done with all of these things. None of this is new. These are all things that I found from around the house, as well as some of the books that were already on the bookshelf that were here that I took down. I picked the books to keep based on size and shape, also based on if the colors kind of went with the theme I was going for, so you can kind of pick and choose based on that. The other thing, there's 4 things that you need to keep in mind when looking for items. Different design style, so does it fit with the feel of your room? If your room is incredibly modern, don't pick something that's very antique looking. If your room is a farmhouse, rustic feel, don't put a shiny, bright ball on the shelf. You kind of understand to fit with the rest of the style of the space, that way it flows. You also need to think about color. If you want to coordinate and keep kind of everything flowing, or if you're going to have a very eclectic look with lots of different bright colors and patterns and shapes going on. The third thing is going to be texture. You don't just want everything to be flat and on the same plane. So think about things that have multi-dimensions and layers, things that are different heights, things that have different, kind of a different feel to them as far as not all flat books, but also candlesticks or photographs, frames that have texture to them that are a little more three-dimensional, that kind of is more visually appealing on the shelf. And lastly, what you want to keep in mind is scale. So you don't want to put a teeny tiny little object on this big open space. You want to fill the space appropriately and kind of adjust your shelves to fit. If you put something really small on a really big shelf, then that tends to be a little off. And if you try to shove something oversized onto a shelf that it's too small for, it's gonna feel wrong in that space. So as you kind of walk around, make sure you're keeping those things in mind. Then the next step, like I said, is going to be to rearrange our shelves as need be and start putting all the things up on the shelf. Now at this point you can see that the items that I pulled are still a little short. And I also have a few items that I'm really not sure what to do with, and that's okay. What this is kind of a process that you have to just work step by step. So put things up on the shelf, take a step back, look at them, see how it feels to you. If it feels off, even if you're not sure why, that's okay. Then try swapping it out for something else. If something's just not working at all, go put it back where you found it and find something else in your house and bring it back. Or next time you're out at the store and you see something that catches your eye, pick it up and throw it on the shelf. It really is just a work in progress that you keep building upon until you get the right book for you. It might take a little bit of time for you to get through the process, but at the end you have a beautifully styled bookcase that no longer just looks like a storage unit in the middle of your space. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Futon. We hope that you come back and watch more of these designer tips soon.